Okay, so I hope you all were able to try out that technique which I am experimenting on, which we discussed last time. Uh, I'm just calling it a block. So any planet ka block, so that rectangle which we have seen. Okay. Now I'm sharing a case here. Can all of you see that? Now this is a live case. It's a D1 chart, and Ashwini or Chitrang can
Good
actually
morning, sir.
can Chitrang, if you want, because it has come through Chitrang. So if you want, if you can just very briefly uh, tell what the issue is.
Fix and stuff. Hello.
Ah, Chitrang,
Am I audible? Ha,
yeah, you or Ashwini, one of you just convey what the basic case is about.
right. So, he's one of my like patient's relative, and he's also actually my ex-patient, and he is to get married. Like there is a girl with whom he is in a relationship, and everyone in their family likes the girl and that kind of a thing. So they somehow went to an astrologer, and astrologer said that अगर शादी करनी है तो नेक्स्ट 1 साल में कर लो. हम्म, उसके बाद 4 साल तक कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा वैसा. अगर ये साल में नहीं किया तो 4 साल के बाद ही होगा जो होगा वो. So that they went into a little bit of a thing. That boy is also not very like ready to एक साल में ही शादी कर लूँ मैं ऐसे करके. So they are asking whether how how is it true and how to go about it.
Okay, so if you are looking at a marriage related question, what should we first see? What
Or,
I mean, I'm not meaning seventh house, seventh lord. I mean whether the yoke for a marriage is there. And if at all the yoke is there, whether it's a good one or a bad one. Correct? So here if you see, I hope you can see the mouse move. 10th Rashi is the ascendant. 7th Lord Moon is seated in the second house. I forgot to put the bracket over here. I put the bracket of the Udayam Lord over here if you can see. And I put the natural 7th Lord Venus bracket over here. Okay. So now tell me. I have also not analyzed the case. I have just cast the chart and I thought we'll do it in class only. What do you all think? If you remember that one technique which I shared around 2-3 weeks back, if you look at the Kalpurush Kundi, first Lord going to the 7th house and 7th Lord coming to the first house, does it have any bearing? It doesn't have any bearing because Mars going to the 7th house doesn't make any difference. Neither does Venus come here. But if you realize here, Sun gets exalted in the first house. And when that has a connection with the 7th house, it gets debilitated over here. Here, if you can see, Mars gets exalted here in the first house. And it has gone to its position where it has got debilitated. So, what inference that is giving, I don't know as of now. Because it's a different thing. If you remember, first and fourth, we had discussed that first Lord Mars going to the fourth house gets debilitated. And fourth Lord Moon coming to the first house is between Mars and Sun, which gets exalted, so it can get burnt out. So there is no connection given in the books about the first and seventh. But the connection here you can uh, connection that you can draw over here is that the first house has got a first Rashi has got Sun exalted, which when it goes to the seventh house gets debilitated. So here, if you see in the first house, Mars gets exalted, and that has gone to the seventh house of marriage where it has got debilitated. And if you see the bracket of uh, Mars, Mars is in the nakshatra of Moon. Pada
Sir, Rashi of mood.
Rashi of Moon, nakshatra of Saturn, and Pada of 5, Sun. So again that Sun element, Sun Saturn element has come in, if you can see. I just noticed that. Here we are talking about the Kalpurush will be Sun Saturn relation. Na? You are exalted going debilitated. So that is one point. You can tell further what you want.
सर उद्यम से 8 से वीनस 8th हाउस लॉस बताता है.
Correct. So fifth lord of relationships plus Venus, which can also mean wife, has gone in the eighth house of obstacles. So your fifth lord, Venus, Ketu can mean a cut also. If you see the eighth house, which is the natural fifth house, you got Mercury, which in this case is the sixth lord. You got Sun, which in this case is the eighth lord and plus strong over there, plus Antardasha that is on, plus Rahu, plus the fifth and the tenth lord Venus.
राहु डिले भी करेगा क्या सर?
Huh?
राहु वीनस के साथ डिले भी करेगा क्या?
Rahu and Venus are enemies. So that is a problem. Venus and Mercury are friends, but I told you a Lal Kitab theory when Mercury, Venus, and Sun are together. You remember that? See, basically, Mercury and Venus are very good friends. Once Sun and Venus are enemies, but when Sun comes here, Mercury जो बहरूपिया है, वो इसका साथ छोड़ के it joins Sun and they hit Venus. So Venus again gets hit. If you remember that theory. You remember the theorem, or you want me to repeat it?
नहीं, गॉट इट.
Second thing is, if you see here, we have added that Navtara system here also. So if you see the dasha which is going on of Saturn is the Vipat dasha which is going on. Can you see this? Just see the color 3, 5, 7 Vipat, Shem, Pratyari, and Vada. So basically the Mahadasha of the Vipat Tara is going on, and the Antardasha of the Vada Tara is going on. Can you see that? Another thing, if you see here, that the seventh lord has gone in the 11th Rashi, which is the natural Kal Purush ka Badak. Natural Kal Purush ka Badak. Plus it is seated with Ketu. Plus it is in the nakshatra of Moon. So seventh lord actually has got totally eclipsed over here in the second house of addition to family, which also happens to be the natural Badak. And if you see the bracket of Moon, Moon is in the Rashi of Saturn, so that is also not very good. It's in the nakshatra of Rahu, which causes a half Grahan, and it is in the 12th natural this thing of loss. So I am basically getting a feeling that this fellow per se, without any modification, his seventh house is not so good.
Plus, sir, Mars in 6th, 7th, 8th house is considered to be Manglik and all, right?
I don't do that way. I have studied it from the Lal Kita point of view also and the Parashari point of view also. But I have come to a conclusion that you cannot brand anything as good or bad or anything, because I have seen so many places where the sixth lord has been doing good for the person. So I have stopped taking those generic, theorems that 6, 8, 12 is bad. Because so many times, because people say 6 directly they say brand it as bad. In so many cases I have seen where the sixth lord has done good for the person, eighth lord has done good for the person. So I don't think at least I wouldn't want to brand it also. So market also I would not take anything very generic about it. See, basically, now these days I've started using that what we call as the village astrologer theorem. This thing. So if we are talking of marriage, we are supposed to see Venus because it is the natural second and seventh addition to family and marriage. So here if you see Venus, it has gone in the Sun ka Rashi. So first only it has got weak. Then it is in the nakshatra of Ketu, where Ketu and Venus are summer. They are not friendly nor inimical. And main thing is this Lal Kitab theorem where Mercury and Sun have come together. And if you see, Sun is in the Venus ka nakshatra. I can't zoom this in further, but I hope you can see this. So basically, what is happening is Venus is getting damaged quite a bit. And Venus is his natural fifth lord of relationship and the natural seventh lord. So I have that's why I have bracketed this Venus off. This needs to be addressed before he by any chance is that girl from a different community? Chitra?
Yes, sir. It seems so. Like Sanghvi, matlab, he is basically Gujarati. That and girl becomes Gupta or something, if I'm not mistaken.
That I
So,
don't understand. They are the same thing. It's not a Hindu Muslim or something like that, right?
नहीं हिंदू मुस्लिम नहीं रिलीजन नहीं है बट हाँ कास्ट अलग है.
Yeah, another thing here, like I was telling you, if you look at this from the Kalpurush Kundli also, it is the first lord going to the fourth house becoming debilitated. Mars. So first lord is I, me, myself, whatever you want to call it, the Jatak. Fourth house is the house of home atmosphere, Sukhastan. Mars is in moon, which is again emotional. Saturn is again acid or cold. And Sun, why have I put green here? I don't understand. By mistake, I put green here. This should actually be brown. So Mars is in the Rashi of Moon, which is emotion. Saturn, which is again cold and not so very lively, whatever you want to call it. And Sun over here. If you see here itself, there's a lot of turbulence over here. Like Sun and Saturn will cause a sort of a grurn to the Sun. Saturn and Moon causes problem to the Moon. You understand? So Saturn, which is the ascendant lord also over here. And if you see here, the Lagna is in Sun. You understand? So there is a connection between Saturn and Sun over here also. Saturn and Sun here also. And Sun Antardasha is also on. So Saturn ka Mahadasha which is on, which is in the fourth house, but debilitated. What do you get out of it? I'm getting some analysis. Let's see what you all are getting. Anyone? What do you see over here? First of all, tell me whether the yoke for marriage is on. Let's do it that way. Is the yoke for marriage on? How do you see whether the yoke for marriage is on? Tell me very simple. Don't use big theorems. Just tell me simple logic.
7th house should be active.
7th house should be active. 7th lord should be active. Seventh lord ka nakshatra lord, if it is connected to the seventh house, should also be active if possible, either or. And mainly Saturn should be active. Saturn should get connected to it. Saturn is karma karma. If Saturn is there, the karya happens. So here if you see Saturn Mahadasha is on. Correct. Now Saturn has a 10th aspect on the ascendant, which is its own house. Can you see this? It's a 10th aspect here. So basically Saturn is creating a situation for something in this fellow's life to happen. Debilitated and वो छोड़ दो, because I have seen in many cases debilitated things also are giving a benefit. So I will not look into that much. Now Saturn is in trine to Venus. If you see exact, if you see this, it's in Ketu Nakshatra. Venus is in Ketu Nakshatra. I'm just talking from the natural Kalpurush Tattva. I'm not yet gone to the planets also. First, I'm just seeing the base, whether the base is acting correctly. So Saturn, which is the karma karak, is in sync with Venus, which is the I don't know what they call marriage ka karak. In Sanskrit, what they call I don't know, but whatever it is. Now the thing is, if you realize, Saturn is the natural badak of the Kalpurush Kundali, because it is the 11th lord. So Saturn, which is karma karak, which is possible to make the marriage, is totally in perfect trine with Venus, which is a natural karak of marriage in addition to family. Now all the other problems are starting over here. Saturn, first of all, is debilitated if you want to take it. Saturn is in the Rashi of Mars, which is not friendly. Saturn is with Ketu, again not a great combination. And Saturn is with Mercury. Mercury is very friendly with Saturn, but Saturn is somewhat towards Mercury. So Saturn is in a weak position in this case. Plus,
So why Saturn with Ketu, sir? I didn't get that one.
Ketu Nakshatra. Saturn is in Ketu Nakshatra here, Ashwini Nakshatra.
Okay.
Here I have put a symbol also about it. So basically Saturn in this fellow's case is a little weak. Correct? That is point one. Second, if you see Mars, if you know Mars, I have written earlier also, is the Karak of marriage. Correct? Mars is the Karak of marriage. In his case, Mars is the fourth lord of Sukhasthan and home atmosphere. That is seated in the seventh house of marriage, debilitated. Okay. And here, if you see, I have made a mistake over here. This should not be a green square, it should be a brown square. So Mars is in the nakshatra of Saturn, Pushya. Mars and Saturn are total enemies. Because Saturn happens to be the natural badak. So that is another point to be noted. Third one is Venus, which is a natural karak, is seated in the 8th house in this case, with the 6th lord and the 8th lord and Rahu in the natural 5th Rashi of relationship. Secondly, Venus, if you see, is on the Rahu Ketu axis. It is exactly on the axis because Rahu and Venus are in the same pada also. If you see here, Venus, all these guys, not the same pada, baju baju wala pada, but they are actually almost touching each other. So if you ask me, I don't think they should hurry into the marriage. It's not a question of 1 year, nahi to 4 years wala thing. How long is he with that girl?
That I haven't asked.
So you need to ask that and find out whether it's just a 6-month, 1-year-old thing, or is it like for the last 4-5 years or whatever. Because what happens here, another thing you have to understand is, everything must be looking very nice. Because just now the 5th house is active.
Hmm.
Fifth house, of course, Venus is here, so that is okay. But everything is very, what's it called, nice and goody goody just now. But when once he gets married, this fellow gets activated.
Sir, but why is fifth house active right now?
Because he's in a love, what is called
अच्छा ओके वैसा.
girlfriend.
Okay, because he's in his relationship वाला house active है
Fifth
वैसा.
house, correct, girlfriend,
Okay,
whatever, boyfriend.
okay, okay.
Once he gets married, he's activating this house.
His seventh house will take over, right?
Then all these things what we are discussing get activated. That is the house activation. No?
Right, right.
So that is one thing which I think he needs to be careful about. I will check it aram se again, but
हाँ.
if you want, let me see if I can just cast a Jamapa just only to see what I know.
Sir, 2-3 things I did some research into in
हाँ,
this. So एक तो कैसा है उसका Mars is as it is the Badhak lord,
हाँ,
right? 11th lord है उसके लिए.
हम्म,
Okay.
हम्म,
And Saturn is the first lord. मतलब Saturn इसके बाद आएगा Saturn moon का दशा और Saturn Mars का दशा.
हम्म,
So why that person would have said कि 3 to 3 years वो वाला phase रहेगा उसका 1 साल के बाद.
हम्म,
So basically Saturn is also the Marak lord
हम्म.
इसमें. Okay, he is also one of the Marak.
1 minute, just
Uh,
tell me again. Like,
second lord है ना.
just tell me again 1 minute.
Saturn is the Marak. Saturn and Moon are Maraks for him also. Second and seventh lord. Okay. एंड सो मून का दशा आ जाएगा जहाँ दोनों मारक लाइक एक्टिवेट हो जाएंगे. सैटर्न मून तो दोनों मारक एक्टिवेट हो जाएंगे. दैट विल बी इवन लाइक अ टफ टाइम. इट कुड बी अ वेरी टफ टाइम फॉर हिम. ओके. एंड सेकंड इज आफ्टर दैट Saturn and this Mars, which is the 11th rod. Now 11th is considered to be Tri Shadaya in Parashar. So they have said that 11th lord is the worst planet in the house,
That is because it
like
is 6
that they
from
say.
6. It is 6 from
Hmm?
6, that's why.
6 from 6 Ichhapurti, it causes maximum issues. It creates illusion. Lot of things they have said about it.
Here is the
So
Badhak also, no? In his case.
here Badhak also, and so that's why 11th. So they say when in any like first house or something like that, in Marak Lord's Mahadasha, when there is Tri Shadaya Lord's Dasha, it can give Mrityu Tulya Kasht. Means it can give very tough time for that individual. So that also equation is active. So that's why they may have probably said next 3, like that 3 years after that 1 year may be difficult, sir.
Yeah, but that Saturn, which is the thing itself, is giving so many negative angles. No?
Right. And also one thing what we have not noticed is Jupiter's fifth aspect is on Mars. Okay, on seventh house. So वो भी एक पॉजिटिव है. बट देन सैटर्न अगर बोथ जुपिटर एंड सैटर्न आर रेट्रोग्रेड, एंड सैटर्न अगर अपन रेट्रोग्रेड करके भृगु के हिसाब से देखेंगे, then 10th aspect comes on 7th house again.
See, Jupiter, na, like what I was saying now, firstly, we have to take Jupiter as a Naisargik Shubhakar. Shipra, I'll come to you in 1 minute. Na? Basically, Jupiter, we are looking at it as a Naisargik Shubhakarak and catching it, that is fine. But if
Hmm.
you see here, Jupiter is in his case the 12th lord also.
Right,
It is seated in the 12th Rashi also, strong,
right,
which I put this plus sign. And Jupiter basically is seated in its. I think this is the Mool Trikon Rashi of Jupiter. No, yeah,
right.
I think this is the thing. So because of this fellow also gets active. You remember I said when Mool Trikon
Hmm.
hit the
Hmm.
other
Hmm.
house, so the 12th house also has got active. The 12th Rashi has also got active. So in such a case, Jupiter might act negative for him. Though Jupiter
Right.
is a though Jupiter is a Sampat nakshatra over here, if you see this,
सर
it is
सर
Sampat.
सर 0 to 10 सर. बट मैंने जस्ट चेक किया, जुपिटर का सैजिटेरियस ही है, तो वो
अच्छा,
एटलीस्ट उसको
ओके,
बेटर है.
ठीक. त्रिकोण मूल त्रिकोण है सही.
हाँ मूल त्रिकोण.
हाँ, ओके, ठीक है. वो एक्चुअली मुझे इधर वो टेक्स्ट डालना है. एवरी टाइम मिस्टर मोदी कीप्स रिमाइंडिंग मी, मैं भूल जाता हूँ.
0 to 10 degrees of Sagittarius. I just quickly.
हाँ, शिप्रा, व्हाट वाज सेइंग?
So I wanted to ask that if Saturn is the Lagna Lord,
will it still act as a marak because Lagna Lord normally फिर harm उतना नहीं करता है.
That that's what I just said. You know, I think maybe you're not joined that time. Ki all these generic dictums which are there, no, I have stopped using them because like I have seen sixth lords and eighth lords and 12th lords doing a very good thing for people, and second lords and fifth lord which are supposed to be good doing harm to the people. So just saying that it's a sixth lord, so it will look bad. Like just now, if you saw the Jupiter analysis, I did it in a different manner. I didn't. I said firstly that okay, it's a Naisargik Shubhakara. But is it in this case acting like that? So it is not. It's activating 12th and it is hitting Mars over here. So what you're saying is correct. But like they say that the Rashi Lord will not damage the Rashi if it is aspecting and all that thing. That's what you're saying, no? That way.
So हाँ, I was saying कि normally what it is कि किसी भी उसमें लग्न लॉर्ड normally harm नहीं करते हैं. So whether it will still act as a marak if it is a second lord.
That's what I'm saying. That Marak Lena hai kya? The
हाँ,
theorem
marak.
that this thing, I'm keeping it as a subsidiary thing. Lesser
Okay.
lesser weightage I'm giving. I'm giving more
Hmm.
weightage to the base analysis. Base analysis and this bracket, what I'm calling this as a bracket, I'm giving more weightage to this bracket and the general Kalpurus Tattva.
Okay.
Then secondary level pe all these theorems which are there, Maharaj, that I'm considering as a second issue. Because many
Okay.
times I've seen Maharaj doing good for a person.
Okay. And also अगर ये 11th lord Mars है but it is debilitated, so then because it is debilitated, will it act worse or will it be weak?
There is one, there is a lot of discrepancy over here. That day I was discussing with, I don't know, I think it was Anish Modi only I was discussing it. Basically, what thought comes to my mind is, if anything is debilitated, it is not that a planet is weak. Planet cannot get weak. It is basically that it is not able to give its full function totally. Now, let us say Mars, whatever it is, was capable of giving 100 units because it is giving, it's debilitated, it will give 100% only. You cannot stop a planet from doing that, but the effect over there might be less. Maybe there is some shield over there, sort of something like that comes to my mind. How
So
can,
that is a good thing in this case.
in a way, that's what there was other thing like this Jupiter hitting this, like what Chitrang said, being a natural. Am I not sharing? Well, basically, Jupiter being here, being a natural Shubhakara, plus being in its own Rashi and positive, plus being in its own Nakshatra, it will actually prevent something major from happening. There will be disturbance in that relationship or in marriage for sure, but it will not go to a level where it is, it becomes very gruesome because of this Jupiter. But Jupiter per se is also connected to the 12th house, 12th Rashi, so it could create some issues.
So it is also possible that in their marriage they can go to a broad place or
Now we have to look at the analysis. Just now we have just what we started off. You were not there. Is first of all the question is about marriage. So first of all you have to see whether marriage hai and hai to acha hai ya bura hai. That is first thing. Then if it is bad, then we have to do the analysis further. So now here it is basically saying हाँ marriage हो सकता है because Saturn is here. Okay, Saturn which is the natural lord, seventh house में Mars Mars natural कारक है. This Mars and Saturn has a connection because basically where Mars gets exalted, Saturn is positive. So all that, so yoga of marriage is there. Now we found out that a marriage is not very positive. So उसके आगे क्या?
so already marriage has happened.
No.
But we are saying
There is one girl. हाँ, so they want to know whether. So some Jyotish told him कि अभी 1 साल में करो नहीं तो 4 साल बाद करो. So that is the logic which I am not yet getting.
okay.
Sankalp and Mahesh, वाला बहुत quiet today. हाँ Sankalp. बोलो.
Sir, can we also see the lowest degree planet as Dara Karka?
Jaimini Karak.
Yeah, and also second last week as Gyati Karak also. So position of them will also give more clarity.
That I don't have the data. You know which which one it is, Chitra? I'll have to open that one. I'll open the just one.
Sir, Jupiter is DK and Mercury is GK.
Tara Karak is Jupiter and Gyati Karak is
Ah,
Mercury.
right,
So this one is the Tara Karak, Jupiter,
right.
and this is the Gyati Karak. So again, Gyati Karak comes sixth lord with the eighth lord with Rahu are all seated with Venus, which happens to be the fifth lord. So that is also a very strong indication of. That's what I said. No, till the fifth house is active, everything is very nice. Once this gets activated on marriage, then the issues can possibly start. Plus another thing here I've shown you here, I've added an Navtara system here also. So here the Vipat Dasha ka Mahadasha is on and the Vada Tara ka Antardasha is on. Here also you can, from this is also another addition which I put over here. So now what is the remedy? How do we strengthen the seventh house, seventh lord and Venus?
वैसे seventh lord being moon, does that mean that their marriages their marriage would have an up and down thing throughout anyways?
Correct. That is the Kalpurish Tattva of Makar Rashi, Capricorn. Seventh lord is moon, which is the Karak of uncertainty. So a person born in Makar can have a uncertain married life. That is the blank chart prediction of that. Plus, the ascendant lord of Makar is also the natural Kalpurush Kundli Badak. What is the code for this? How do we rectify this? Mahesh, you have anything to say? Mahesh, your voice is muted.
Strengthen Saturn.
Strengthen Saturn. Okay.
The Lagna Lord's dispositor. Lagna Lord is debilitated. Its dispositor Mars is debilitated.
Your voice is not very clear.
No, sir. I'm saying that Lagna Lord is debilitated.
Correct.
इसका dispositor भी debilitated है in the seventh house.
हाँ.
And its dispositor Moon is sitting with Ketu again in the house of Saturn.
Or
Which again, yeah. So if we can strengthen Saturn, which is the Lagna Lord, you say that dot on a hand kind of a thing, where we can put Saturn in Libra.
See, if you see the basic connection, no, there is a connection here, triangle, which actually you caught correctly. The ascendant lord is debilitated, his dispositor is debilitated, uska dispositor is debilitated, and again it comes back to Saturn, no, because iska moon ka dispositor is again Saturn. So if you start from
Yes,
the native Jatak ka dispositor is debilitated to the fourth house of home atmosphere. Uska dispositor has gone debilitated in the seventh house of marriage. Uska dispositor has gone in the second house of addition to family. And again that connection goes there. So there is a connection between Moon, Saturn, Mars and to some extent Ketu. So basically Saturn, Mars, Moon has to be revived. Now if you see, Saturn and Mars are inimical. Saturn and Moon are inimical. Actually Saturn is somewhat towards Moon, Moon is inimical towards Saturn, but maybe they are not friendly anyway. And Moon and Mars are friendly. You understand? So within this also there is a Graha Yuddha sort of a thing. His Saturn is inimical, so almost to both of them. And these two guys are friendly, so it is like that Sun, Venus, Mercury wala sort of a situation. So we have to do something wherein Saturn in the fourth house becomes strong, Moon in the second house becomes strong, and Mars in the seventh house becomes strong by changing the Karaka flow. It's as simple as that. So basically, let's start off with Saturn. So if we have to do Saturn in the fourth house strong, what can we do? So fourth house is home atmosphere. Saturn is what? So maybe now Chitra, tell me this boy's relationship with his mother, is he like a beautiful son or is he not like that?
So I have interacted with the son. I have interacted with my patient who is like, so as I told you, they are relatives, but this woman considers him as her son.
Correct.
वैसे type है.
But is
हाँ.
he beautiful towards her in the sense how is, or is he cheat like that with her or something like that? Or his real mother, if at all you know that thing. Basically what I'm trying to say is, see, Saturn is karma. Fourth
Right.
house is mother. Ketu is a cut. Mars is a jhagda. And Mercury is communication. It's the third thing. So basically it is trying to tell me something that his relation with his mother or mother-like is cold. He is spiteful, jhagdalu.
Okay.
So if you don't know, you have to find it out. But I'm telling you,
I'll find it out.
that
Yes.
where this bracket ka theorem which I'm working on now
Mm-hmm.
is giving the secret of it all. Because Saturn just being debilitated over here. See, Shikra, to answer that question further of yours, debilitated over here doesn't mean weak. It is basically trying to say that what it should be doing over there, it is not able to do because of something. Like Saturn is what?
Right.
Saturn is karma. Fourth is mother. His karma or his karya or his efforts or his whatever you want to call it towards the mother, he is not able to do. And then what is he doing? It is shown here in the bracket. The red is jhagda, Ketu is a detachment, Mercury is communication. So there seems to be some detachment from the mother or mother-like because jhagda. I just get water and come on.
So if he does physical seva
Correct.
for the mother,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that would literally physical work.
Physical है मुझे सेवा सेवा
Seva,
is physical only तो मनी
not,
बन लेकिन सेवा नहीं कर सकते
not just from the giving money or something like that, but some mehnat required in it.
what is this fellow's situation about his house is he detached from his house by any chance चित्रण अश्विनी हसते कैसे होते आता म्हणशील हसतमुख चेहरा आहे म्हणून
सर मैंने उसको ट्रीट ऑलमोस्ट 10 साल पहले किया था ये लड़के को
हाँ
उसका ब्रेसेस वगैरह किया था 10 साल में एक आध बार ऐसे मैं उसको एक दो बार मिला हूँ
हाँ
उसके बाद राइट नाउ उतना मतलब मुझे पता है कि ही इज वर्किंग फॉर फिलीपींस गवर्नमेंट
नहीं नहीं
ऐसा
वैसे
ही
नहीं
डिड इंजीनियरिंग एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग एंड है उसका थोड़ा अभी फ्यूचर स्टडीज और वो सब का उसका थोड़ा चल रहा है इश्यूज है थोड़ा बहुत
No, no, no.
बट
What I mean is that is a healthy detachment, going away for studies or something. I am saying from a negative point of view that he is in some way disconnected or detached or disconnected only from the home or home atmosphere or mother like. See, that's what I keep saying. No problem. क्या होता है under the fellow sitting right next to you and answering the volley of questions, it is very difficult to reach a conclusion. That's why if you see in my DP also I have written over there. If you want consultation, come to the studio.
राइट
It is free either ways, but come and sit here. मेरा मेहनत कम हो जाएगा because see,
हाँ अग्रीड सर डेफिनेटली
you're
तो
one minute.
दे आर तो विलिंग टू कम सर मैं आपको बता मतलब
Not you, my dear. This fellow has to come. तू आके फायदा क्या है? मुझे whatever I'm saying. Anyway, that's not.
नहीं नहीं भैया, वो लोग आने के लिए तैयार है.
हाँ. So one minute. Now, what is coming immediately to my mind? Just see, we are looking at a connection between Saturn, Mars, Moon, बराबर? And Ketu भी पकड़. Now, it will be very simply, Moon is mother, Saturn is kartavya or karma,
कर्मा.
Mars is efforts, and Ketu is with detachment or with no materialistic gains. It should not be that his mother is, let us say, some minister or something, and उसको फायदा निकालने के लिए उसका सेवा कर रहा है, वो नहीं चलेगा. So basically, even if this now, Sipra, to answer your question, with this triangle, with this offshoot, उसको अगर कहना, most probably it will be that he is in some way detached or disconnected, whatever, from his mother or mother-like, or he is not doing that sort of a, let's not call it seva because that looks very materialistic. Basically, he is not doing his kartavya towards the mother or mother-like. Whoever it can be, his grandmother भी हो सकती है, mother's mother हो सकती है, father's mother हो सकती है. So if he basically strengthens that, then this triangle becomes strong. This triangle becomes strong. Basically, the 7th house is getting strong, which is marriage. 2nd house, which is addition to family, is getting strong, which is again marriage. 4th house, which is home atmosphere, that is getting this thing strong. And then what happens is this entire thing, which is in the 8th house, which was acting as obstacles, now becomes a major transformation. So जरा ये तो बता दो, and then if you want write on the group later on, कि whether there is some unbond with his mother or mother-like. 99% वही issue रहेगा. And if he doesn't rectify that, his married life will be permanently problematic. Because in any case, like I think Mahesh or somebody said, natural Kalpurus तत्वों के हिसाब से 10th राशि ascended will always have 7th house dharma. I think Sipra said that is correct because 7th lord is moon, and moon is basically dharma, and moon gets debilitated in the 11th house again of Ichha Buddhi. Anyway, so just have a look at this. Chitra and Ashwin, if you all get a feedback on this, let me know if they come.
हाँ sir.
Get them along also if you want with the parents.
हाँ sir.
वो भी कर सकते हैं, we can discuss.
Sure sir. Sure sir.
ठीक है. और कुछ है? Any other point you want to discuss? This now you realize, I think Mahesh is still experimenting on that bracket thing which I'm calling. It is some, we have still not cracked the case, but I think a lot of thing is opening up over there. Yeah, Mahesh, I think you have written that, so I think even you are getting some results over there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm able to connect the dots, sir. It's like I'm not able to get the conclusion like how you do it holistically, but I can connect the dots. The analysis is going into it's going much deep, and I'm trying to connect the dots between that column wala thing is really helping.
I'm calling it a bracket basically.
Yeah, bracket or
let's call it a box or a bracket. Let's call it a box. Box might be easier to say rather than bracket. Box बोल देते उसको. So box जो है, that I don't know from where it came. Again, like I keep saying, वो राहु का ही देन है. So somewhere it is telling a full story over there, and I think the analysis will also come from there. And like I told you last time, from 5th I've taken on one case where course where they're talking about chakra healing and yogasana and Ayurveda connected to astrology as remedies. So I have a very strong feeling that chakra healing will be one big modality for remedies, because there are those 5 elements which are there: space, fire, earth, air, water. They have a connection. Now I don't know it by heart, so I have written it somewhere. So I'll just quickly tell you if you want. If I can find it, I always keep using that paper. So if you want, you can write down if you want, because then you can work further on it. But I'll tell you later. Just एक लाइन में एक के आगे एक लिखो space, air, fire, water, earth. If you want later see the video and see it later, अभी मत करो. So space, air, मेरा उल्टा आ रहा है. So for you it will be left to right is space, then air, then fire, then water, then earth. So what they are saying is space and air make Vat Prakruti. And Vat Prakruti is ruled by
Saturn.
Mercury, Saturn, and Rahu. Okay, then fire and water make Pitta Pravruti, which is connected to Sun, Mars, Ketu. And water and earth Tattva make Kapha, Dosha, or Prakruti, and Moon, Jupiter, Venus are the Karaka. So as of now, I've got this data, and he spoke about few things about astrology, but I realize his knowledge about astrology is very limited. He's got good knowledge about chakras and yoga and Ayurveda, which is what we don't have. So from that angle, it's a beneficial thing. So just as of now, I've got this only. So we can check on that. अभी इसका भी ये Saturn, Mercury दो planet तो इधर ही आ गए, and Mars is here. Moon is here. So this fellow seems to be a combination of Vat, Pitta, and Kapha, all three. Because he has given a very detailed list of the physical attributes and other things also, which once I sort of analyze properly, I will share with you all later on. But anyway, this is what is the next research topic. Because that remedies by chakra healing, I feel will make a lot of difference. Okay? So ठीक है, we'll meet next time then. I'll share some other, there are a couple of other cases I'll share on the group, then we can work on it. No? चलो, okay.
Thank you.